Hi, everybody, and welcome to our second podcast interview. Today, we have a very special guest, Satya Mallick, who is the CEO of OpenCV and Big Vision LLC. He also has a blog called learnopencv.org, where he also teaches in-depth courses in OpenCV. So, Satya, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me here, Ritesh. Glad to be here.
The pleasure is all mine, man. How's lockdown treating you?
It's the same for me. I have managed my life so that everything is close to my house. I don't like commuting. I have an office which I used to work from home, but I have an office which is 5 minutes from my home. So even during lockdown, this was open, and I could just come in because it's just 5 minutes from my home.
Mm.
So uh, things
It's
have
nice
not
to,
changed much, except
yeah.
yeah.
So before we start, for those who are looking to learn computer vision, such as object detection, segmentation, and pose estimation, we'll have all the links mentioned in this podcast down below. And Satya will also have the links to his courses as well. So Satya, tell us a bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I grew up in India. Until my undergrad, I grew up in India, and even within India, we traveled a lot because my dad had a transferable job, and he did not get along with his superiors, so he was transferred. If you watch Hindi movies, they always say that if you don't get along, they are transferred. That's actually true. So my dad used to be transferred every year. The good thing is that I actually was able to see a lot of India, Northeast India, Bengal, Punjab. So I grew up in those places. And when I was in the eighth grade, my brother was in the 10th grade. My parents decided that for our education, it would be best if we moved to some place like a bigger city. We were in very rural areas, these um, areas which were kind of rural. So then we came to this sort of small town called Cuttack, which is in Odisha. And that's where I did my ninth grade, 10th grade. And then finally, it used to be called 10 plus 2. So 12th grade. And after that, I got into Indian Institutes of Technology at Kharagpur. And then I did my undergrad there. And after that, I came here for my PhD.
Your undergrad in what?
Electrical engineering.
And then you continued that electronic engineering into your PhD as well?
Yeah, so during my PhD, even though I was, enrolled in the electrical engineering department and my degree says electrical engineering, I changed all the courses to be in computer science. And you can do that when you're in a PhD program, as long as your advisor allows you to change, you did that. So I really don't have a lot of expertise in, electronics, hardware design and things like that. So I switched to computer vision. Most of my courses were in machine learning and computer vision during my PhD.
Yeah, I see that a lot of people switch over the past few years. You get those who go into machine learning, artificial intelligence,
Yeah,
and then you get those who go into financial institutions, which
right.
I don't understand that, but it is what it is.
And from all fields, actually, even some of my friends who were working in physics, they are now in machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
The people who were working in aerospace
Mm-hmm.
are in machine learning and computer
Even in
vision.
medical
So it's
medical fields, they also go into machine learning and data science.
that's true.
Mm.
That's true.
Okay. So, what does your journey look like from when you graduated with your PhD till now?
So when I graduated from my PhD, I started a company right away with my PhD advisor. It was called Site Commerce Inc. We changed names a few times. When I named it, it was called Photometria. And Photometria is a paper by Lambert. Um, and I like that name, but it was very difficult for people to pronounce. And then we changed it to TAS because that was the name of the website we had. And it was a very popular website where women could upload their own picture and apply makeup virtually. And then we changed the name to Site Commerce because our focus became not users, the end users, but corporate clients like Estee Lauder and Time Magazine, etc. Those were our bigger clients, and we decided to name it Site Commerce. So right after Site Commerce, the company, we ran it for about 11 years, and I was the co-founder and CTO for 8 of those years. And things were, I decided that things were taking much longer, and decided to move on. And that's when I started my consulting company called Big Vision LLC. And at the same time, I started writing blogs also, learn open at learnopencv.com. And gradually the blog picked up. It became, it's one of the most popular blogs in computer vision. And from Big Vision, so I was running Big Vision. It was a very successful consulting company, especially it is because it's not a VC-backed company. I own 100% of that company, and I got very good people to work with me. And the team has grown to about 50 people, very smart people working for us at Big Vision. And about 2 to 3 years into that, Gary Bradsky, who's the founder of OpenCV, he contacted me asking if I would be interested in the CEO role for OpenCV.
That must have been big. That must have been huge to get that.
That was huge, but it's one of those things that you're not ready at some point in your time. So I was not ready at that time because my consulting company was going so well and we were doubling every year. And I did not know whether running a nonprofit I was not thinking in those terms. And I was very heavily involved in the technology delivery also. So it became difficult for me to take that offer because in a nonprofit, it's a lot of prestige, but you don't get a salary. At least OpenCV did not have that option at that time. So I decided to shelve the idea because I had to set up a company first, which could take care of my income, and I would be free to do other things. So I had to get to that level. But I started thinking how OpenCV can become bigger than what it is currently. And the first idea, it occurred to me, but I did not, act on it. When people started asking me to create courses, and we did OpenCV. Give me 1 second. Okay. So we started doing OpenCV courses on my own website. It was not an OpenCV branded course. And that is, we did those courses because people asked us to do it. Like they said, oh, why don't you create a course? The blogs are so useful. If you create a course, we will take the course. And at that time I said, okay, let's do a pre-sale and see whether people are actually interested in the course or not, or they're just saying, right? So we did a pre-sale and it raised about $65,000. And then right before, so it took us 3 months to create the course because we had a lot of material already in preparation. We had started this. And finally, when the course, before the release, we did another pre-sale and it was about $35,000. So in all, about $100,000 we raised even before the course was ready.
So this was on your own platform, or was it?
It was on my own platform. Yeah. I did not even do Kickstarter campaign because I just wanted to do it as a test. And I didn't want to figure out all the Kickstarter details. So we did this campaign on my own website, and we created these courses, CV for Faces. And from then on, I started thinking that OpenCV doesn't have official courses. So if we did some courses for OpenCV, it would be huge. We could work together. And so after a year or so, I had managed my business in such a way that most of the work was being done by these very smart people that I have hired. And I was able to set up a second level of management. So there was the second level of management so that I could, work, I could bring in clients, and these very smart entrepreneurial kind of people, they were delivering the projects, and I could have very small meetings with them every a few times a week. and they knew exactly what to do, because these are smart people. We just need to do, we used to discuss algorithms. Oh, we'll implement this, done.
So basically, you need a team that you can rely on and someone you can trust and they can carry through your
Extremely
visions.
important.
Yeah,
Yes. In fact, that is very true. That is absolutely required so that you can get out of that,
exactly. Yeah.
day-to-day affairs.
Okay, so as you mentioned that you are the CEO of OpenCV and Big Vision LLC, what does your typical day look like? It must be really busy, I can imagine.
The typical day is very busy. There are two kinds of days. Good days, when I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm at work at about 5 a.m. and I keep, I take breaks and everything, but uh, like a lunch break would be 1.5 hours or so. I usually go to the beach once or twice
Ooh,
a
nice.
day, because it's just 10 minutes from my house.
You're
And
lucky.
sometimes I take meetings from the beach. It refreshes you. And then pretty much work until 5:30, and then I go back home, play 1.5 hours with my kids. We play cricket. We have been playing cricket for forever. Yes, we will form the US team. So, and then I go to bed early. That's a good day. A bad day starts at 6 a.m. when I cannot go to bed early for one reason or the other. Then I wake up at 6 a.m. And it's about 50-50.
Yeah. What about in winter when it's like very cold? Do you still get up before 6?
Doesn't matter. In San Diego, it's not very cold. The temperature goes down to, let's say, 5-6 degrees centigrade, but it's not freezing cold. I still, waking up is not that difficult, especially if you create that
It's routine.
habit. And yeah, it's a routine. It's not that difficult once you get into that routine. There are other things that become difficult in routine. I take cold showers in the morning, which becomes slightly difficult in the.
I actually take cold showers as well.
It wakes you up, right?
It
That's
wakes
the
you
one
up
thing, that
and
you just have to go into the
yeah,
shower.
it's great for health as well. So I've heard.
Yes. And typical day, these days there is a lot of meetings. Sometimes I'm working on the courses, so block out entire days for recording the course and things like that. But these days, it was a lot of work related to the Kickstarter campaign, and there was a lot of work related to new clients that we are getting. So yeah.
So for those who don't know, Satya is also working with Brandon Gillis. We had him in our last podcast interview. So you guys are collaborating with the guys at Luxonis on the OpenCV AI kits. How did this collaboration happen?
So it started actually back in September, when September, not this year. Yeah, September last year. September last year in 2019, I was talking to some folks from, OpenVino, and I had actually said that we could actually build a hardware for them, and we could have an OpenCV branded hardware. And the design I had a neural compute stick in it and things like that. uh, I fortunately, that it was so tight that we decided that it would not be feasible, because they wanted to get something by December. So we did not have the time to execute on that. But I kept my eyes open for the possibility of a hardware. And right then, Brandon did a crowd supply campaign, and I heard about it. That crowd supply, I looked at the hardware. The design was so beautiful. I almost felt ashamed about my own design, because mine was not integrated. It was a collection of parts. And this camera was beautiful. There was the camera, there was this Myriad X chip, and everything worked beautifully the way Myriad X is supposed to work, right? It's actually not designed to be as a neural compute stick, because then you don't get the benefit of the frame directly coming to the neural compute stick. The host is involved. uh, in our camera, the host is not involved, the computer is not involved. So so I was tracking that crowd supply campaign, And according to me, I thought that this is $1 million product. You can do a crowd supply campaign. And I was so disappointed that it was about $35,000 they raised from. And so I reached out to Brandon and I said that, look, let's work together. We will create an OpenCV branded hardware. But the important thing is that we'll need to polish the software layer even more so that people have a very good experience. So they started working on this beautiful software layer. Everything works plug and play almost. And you have this pipeline builder where you can build a pipeline for these things. There are a lot more models, etc. And so the hardware in the beginning was the same, but the new hardware after the Kickstarter campaign is going to be different. We added a few more components to it. So that's how the collaboration came into being. We decided that let's collaborate on it together and have an OpenCV branded hardware, because this was always my goal, to have an edge hardware, because in AI these days, there is a lot of work. People have a lot of work is being done on training the neural network models, etc. But the deployment is a lot on the edge. So people don't have a platform to get their hands dirty on the edge.
And you need a lot of components.
You need a lot of components
to put them together,
exactly.
have the synergy, and it's just a lot of work to get it just working just like that.
Yeah. And it's not the training, there is nobody's there to train you. So my goal was that once we have this smart camera, we will have a platform. If you sell enough of those, you can create a whole ecosystem around it. You can create courses around it, because you have sold so many that you have the profits to actually create the courses, the tutorials, etc. And then once you have this community, people will surprise you how they are going to use this. And of course, companies like Intel, etc., would also be interested in helping us out in different ways. For example, our spatial AI competition was sponsored by Intel, and so I could see that once this thing is successful, once you have the developers, then we can take it. And the hardware was really good. The hardware was really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just got mine right here. I just received it yesterday in the mail.
Very nice.
Let me just take it all out of the package here.
You should do an unboxing video. I really want to see. Oh, nice.
I wanted to do it, but I was too excited to open up and start playing with it. So for those who don't know, this is the OpenCV AI kit.
Yes. So I want to see your unbiased opinion. Mm-hmm. How long did it take for you to plug it in and get it running?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So once you have that going, I want to see how long it took. Yes. So for me, it took about a minute, less than a minute, to do everything. So I want to hear some experiences.
Yeah, I'll definitely give a video on it. Interesting that you mentioned earlier that you wanted to create $1 million product. And when I last interviewed Brandon Gillis, he was around $700,000 and now it's over $1 million.
Right.
How does it feel? It's incredible.
It feels great. So the first time, I talked to Brandon, I said that this is you should have done $1 million Kickstarter campaign. If you join hands, we will do $1 million Kickstarter campaign. And then after talking to him, I realized, we decided to sign the contract, etc. And I thought that, does he actually believe what I just said? This can be $1 million campaign. And I was not sure whether, he actually believed what I said. So I said, the next time we talked, I said, we have the goal is to raise $1.2 million, right?
Okay.
so that there is no doubt in people's mind that. So, when you set that kind of goal, people think that, oh, this guy is being unreasonable. Maybe we can do 1 million, right? So $1.2 million was the goal initially. And in all, if you look at our Slack channel and other things, you will notice that whenever somebody said, oh, we are so close to $1 million, I would respond by saying that, yeah, $1 million would be great as a milestone, but that's not the goal. The goal is $1.2 million.
Nothing less.
Yes. And So 5 days before this, we were 350K away from our goal. 5 days before the Kickstarter end, and I wrote on my Facebook page that I don't know exactly how to get there, but I'm not going to reduce the target. I'm going to double the effort, right? That's the never reduce the target, double your effort. And we pressed very hard. And in fact, two of our big things did not happen. I cannot talk about them because they will still happen and we'll learn about them. So I was working with a large company to have some goodies for backers. And that could not happen in time. It may still happen, but it could not happen in time. So we tried like 10 different ideas. Some big ones did not work out, but we pushed really hard. Like I was sleeping 3-4 hours a day. And finally, last 30 hours, we raised 330K.
Wow.
Right. And I could not believe myself. What happened? I could not believe myself. What really happened? We would have hit 1.2 million with all the plan we had. We would have just made to 1.2. What is that one extra 150K coming from? And then we did some, digging in, and we found that Kickstarter liked our campaign so much that Kickstarter sent it to their users, and that blew it. So we ended up with, we ended up with 1.357, so almost $1.36 million were raised. But the more important thing is that we have a community of 6,500 backers now. So that's amazing because we want to work with the community. We want to do all these competitions. We want to see how people use this. And in large companies, these something like $1 million is not a big deal. For us, it is a big deal, and we want to make it, we want to thank our backers. We want to make it a very pleasurable experience for them. So yeah, it feels really good. And I think that I have been, ever since I started my second company, Big Vision LLC, I decided that it is not going to be a VC-backed company. My previous company, our venture capitalists, they were great, but when you take in VC money, you cannot play the long game in the sense that, and you cannot play, they want you to build $1 billion company. And if you do not have $1 billion company, then they want you to go to zero, right? But there are pretty good $50 million companies you can build on your own, right? Exactly. You can build a $50 million company where, but that would be a failure from a VC point of view, right? So I decided that we are not going to take outside money, but we are still going to do great things. And this Kickstarter campaign was one such example that we did not take external money. Of course, we shared revenue, we got partners on board, but we are doing great things without taking VC money.
That's brilliant. And plus, if you take VC money, you have to play by their rules, their games. If they don't like something, you have to scrap it totally. Okay.
Yeah. In the VC game, it is a 5-year game. If you do not succeed in 5 years, then they want you to go to zero. Here, we are playing a very long game. For example, on my blog, the content I created 5 years back, it is still helping our consulting business. So it's compounding. So it's not going away. That material is still there. People are still finding me because of those blogs. And so it is a compound effect.
It's accelerating,
so nothing happens in the beginning and it takes off. And you can play that game when you have no time restriction.
Exactly. So now that you've reached that goal, what new goals are available for the kit regarding the stretch goals?
The stretch goals, well, we have to create, the stretch goals that we promised was power over the Ethernet, 2 versions of the product. We are going to build a case, aluminum case around the product. That is, those things need to be designed and delivered. And finally, there is the Bluetooth version also, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi version also. So there are hardware changes that will be made. But so this will take us a few months, until March or so, when all these versions are delivered and working and everything. And then we want to go into other areas, there is a huge demand for thermal cameras also. So you use the same you have an RGB camera. In addition, you also have a thermal camera so that you can do temperature measurement for medical devices, etc. So depending on the demand, we are going to do this. And remember that we are also selling this thing to other companies. So we may be able to produce the thermal camera without the need for any Kickstarter campaign. A big company can come in and put in a large order, and we will just do the Kickstarter campaign to give a good price to our users. So the last Kickstarter campaign, a lot of people may not realize the whole idea, because it was so inexpensive. It is very close to what it costs us. It's very little margins. Our goal was to build a big community, and that's why we reduced the price so aggressively on this. And we want to build a big community, and we want to, it funds future products. We did not need the money to actually build this version of the product exactly. We needed it to have those add-ons that we added. Those were required. So yeah, so that's the goal. New versions will come out, and this is a smart camera which will keep evolving. When new versions of Intel technology or even other NVIDIA, Google versions come out, we will keep up.
There'll be new generations and with new functions and all that. I really like the concept of the infrared camera, where you're able to see people's temperatures. I can imagine it's like very useful in these times where you need to measure people's temperatures contactless. So I think I see some big applications with that, especially with regards to detection of people who have a fever automatically. So the minute the person comes in contact with your house, in industry or wherever, they'll be identified as symptomatic or non-symptomatic.
Exactly. And it is also useful in other, anywhere you're camouflaging and things like that, you can easily detect. There could be pests hiding in agricultural applications, which are not easily detectable. And if you have a thermal camera, and you will be able to detect those things.
Yes, great. So OpenCV, we spoke about, is celebrating its 20th anniversary. What does this mean for OpenCV?
So for the last 20 years, we have been focused completely on the library, the OpenCV library. And we have completed 20 years. So many new features have been added. There are more than 2,500 different algorithms in OpenCV. But now we are moving on to the next phase of OpenCV. So we decided that computer vision is so vast now that we want to contribute to all aspects of computer vision. OpenCV library is great, but there are new technologies which are complementary. For example, we don't use OpenCV for training a neural network model. We use PyTorch or TensorFlow, but it's the same community. It's the computer vision community, and we want to actually provide resources for all these people. So if you look at our courses, the first course is Computer Vision 1, Introduction to Computer Vision, which is traditional computer vision. Computer Vision 2 is about applications. The third course is Deep Learning with PyTorch. We don't even touch computer vision, OpenCV in that course, because our goal is to expand beyond the OpenCV library. OpenCV library is still our flagship library, but we want to expand beyond the library. So we want to contribute in courses. We will have more courses, on TensorFlow also. And then the second thing was hardware. We went into courses, into hardware, and the whole idea is to build the community. Even with hardware, we want to build a community around hardware.
So the whole ecosystem around OpenCV.
Exactly. Yeah, the whole ecosystem of computer vision users, we want to provide the best resources for them. And even if you're a company, it's not just individuals, but also companies. If you're a company and you need help with computer vision solutions, we have a consulting arm that will help you with that. And we are also coming up very soon with something called, OpenCV forums. We are trying to figure out the logistics, how we can provide the best forum for answering questions on computer vision. And we are ready to put in, some of our own resources, some of our own people in answering these questions. So it would be a forum where you can get all questions answered about OpenCV, TensorFlow, PyTorch, even CV related hardware, etc. And we are figuring out the logistics on how we can deliver that, but that's coming too, because our goal ultimately is to build a very robust community which gets all problems solved using this. And the final thing that is coming later this year is called a model zoo. It's a model marketplace is the right thing. So currently, if you want to try any computer vision model somebody has trained using PyTorch or TensorFlow, you have to download their GitHub repo and then you try it out and try to check the performance. But what we are going to do is we are going to put these models on as a web API. So people can try out by just uploading a picture, they try out, oh, how is the model performing? Not only that, we will also produce benchmarks that this model has this level of accuracy, runs with this speed on this device, right? And some of the models will be for OpenCV AI Kit. And it will say that this model runs with this speed on OpenCV AI Kit and so on. So people will get a very good idea of the landscape of what are the different models. But we'll also go up with the long tail. So currently you have models for image classification, object detection, etc. But suppose somebody wants to build a model for detecting, say, something in a manufacturing plant, say forklifts in a manufacturing plant, or detecting boxes in a manufacturing plant. So in those cases, we want to give people this option of uploading their models and making it available to the community. And there will be both kinds of options. One would be free, the other would be paid.
Like an app store.
It's an app store. It's an app store where you can try the model using a web API. You can go to a web page, but you can also use Python scripts to do the same thing. So this way, and with benchmarking, right, people will have an idea how robust this model is. Some of the community features also we will try to add, like ratings, etc. So this way, we will cut down the time people invest in trying out different models by a lot, because they can try out this thing very quickly, and we will also tell them, this works well on this and so on. So yeah, that's the goal. We are executing on it. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So you've already answered a lot of my questions about latest developments that we can expect from OpenCV. Another one that I've dealt with personally, or not personally, from my previous courses, I work mostly in Unity and I build augmented reality apps. Now, I've been using a plugin called OpenCV for Unity. I'm sure it's a third-party asset on the asset store.
It's a third party, yeah.
Do you guys have any intention of building something for Unity, mostly because for the augmented reality applications?
Right. So currently there is nothing in the pipeline for that. However, if enough people are interested, that could be one of the efforts. The thing is that the way it is organized right now is that we are going up for performance of computer vision algorithms. So it's performance on these different processors. And it was not in the radar, to be honest, that this AR/VR application for Unity, that has not been on the radar. But if enough people request that, obviously we will be able to add some community. The easiest way to add these features is through Google Summer of Code. So we look at all the feature requests we get, and some things that we cannot put our own energy into it, we create a Google Summer of Code out of it, and it gets implemented. So that's also very nice.
Yeah, I think it would be something that my viewers would personally like. For those who would like this functionality for Unity, please give a thumbs up in the like button below and in the comment section. One of the projects people have been asking is essentially using pose estimation to overlay an avatar on the person. So if I move in 3D space, the avatar will follow me as well. I've
Right.
had a lot of requests for that kind of functionality. And it would be great to see something like that in OpenCV as well, and mixed with Unity.
Right. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So moving on to your blog called learnopencv.com. What made you start this blog? I know you mentioned a bit earlier, but what's the driving force?
So what really, when I started the blog, it was something that it struck me that a lot of people, even with good education, when they come out, they see that those algorithms don't always work in the real world. And so there is some amount of training. You need some amount of real world experience to get those algorithms from the theoretical domain to the practical domain. And because I had spent so much time, working on this, my last company, and a lot of these things, there were constraints of speed, there were constraints of accuracy, etc. So I felt that I had something to contribute to the community. I can tell the community, I can help the community in building practical applications, not the theoretical ones. You can go and read papers if you want that theoretical knowledge, and that's great to have. But to have practical knowledge, I thought that I was in a very good position to contribute. And when I started consulting, I started this before consulting, actually. The blog I started about 6 months before I started doing consulting. But in my initial days of consulting, I decided that I'm going to work only 20 hours a week, and the rest I will spend blogging. And fortunately, in consulting, you can have a rate. You can charge enough that 20 hours would easily pay for what you were getting paid as a startup founder.
Exactly.
So that was the motivation to spread the word. And it was, it's initially there were two people. I like to say that there were two people who used to visit my website when I checked Google Analytics. The first person was me on my laptop, and the second person was also me on my phone. And it takes several months to get that momentum going. And finally, gradually 50 people started coming on. Now, more than a couple of million people come to our website every year. So it takes time, but if you keep working at it, it produces, a lot of people benefit, and you also get benefit.
Lots of perseverance, continuous work. You have to be consistent in your efforts. Same with the YouTube channel. You have to keep at it a video a week or 2 videos a week.
You have to understand the nonlinearity of the whole thing, that there is almost zero traffic in the beginning for many months. And you have to go through it, and you have to make sure that your content is the best. And then you will see an uptick, and then it takes off.
It'll be exponential.
It takes off in a yes. It's exactly the kind of thing I was talking about before also. And for me, it helps everything. It helps our course business. It helps our consulting business. So, and now I'm motivated even more. I need to produce good content. So when I don't have the time, I hired very able people to do this. It takes us 50 hours to produce a single blog, to do the experiments. 50 hours, that's 50 ridiculous. Hours. But yes, 50 hours to produce a single blog post. So it's ridiculous amount of effort that goes into it. But I think it is worth it. The community benefits. In fact, I come back to my own blog sometimes and I forget.
I use this reference.
So it's my own reference also.
I actually do the same with my my YouTube videos. If I'm lost somewhere, I just go back to my YouTube videos. It's like, that's the stuff I was missing. So in your computer vision courses, what do you teach in those courses? Is it mostly fundamental or advanced, or mix of both?
It's a mix of both. So I want to make sure that people understand the fundamentals. So the course actually takes about 3 to 4 months for people to complete. And you have to spend about 8 hours a week on it. And we cover all the fundamentals of computer vision. We talk about optical flow. We talk about all the affine transforms, color transforms, all kinds of geometric transforms and color transforms, and also all kinds of machine learning related thing like face detection, how to train your own face detector, all kinds of things we teach in the first course, which is an introductory course. And I'm not even joking, the first course is more material than people cover in their masters in computer vision. When they do a master's in computer vision, they don't cover as much material as we cover in the first course. And the reason we are able to do this is that the density of instruction is much higher in video format, right? If you are listening to a lecture, a simple concept is explained in 1 hour. In video, that same concept can be explained in, say, 5 to 10 minutes. Because all the material is ready, you're showing animations, you don't have to spend a lot of time explaining when you can show it using animations. So that's the first course, introduction. The second one is applications, where we teach many different applications of computer vision, very hands-on course. The emphasis is not on theory in the second course. The emphasis is on only building applications. So we skip on theory in that course. The third course is deep learning with PyTorch. It is very similar to the first course in its intent, that we want to have a mix of practice and theory. So you will get the complete idea about deep learning for computer vision if you take that course. We cover everything from scratch. We make you understand what is backpropagation algorithm. And you have all these different assignments and tutorials that you go through, which make you understand the fundamentals. And then we also have projects, which are longer term assignments. And we try to make them as interesting as possible, something that is surprising when you build it yourself. Like in the first course, we have something like autofocus. How was autofocus implemented in cameras, etc. So we give them an idea how to do that. There are other applications you put in the very first week itself. We show how you can put glasses on Elon Musk, right? So fun applications like that, they really help people understand what's going on, how these algorithms work. But at the same time, they are also having fun building these things.
And exactly, people learn through having fun, building projects and making it their own.
Yeah, and because of our scale, we are also able to talk to large companies. Like Microsoft gives 100 hours of free GPU time to students in our course of deep learning with PyTorch. So because deep learning, you have to have GPU access to train these models. So 100 hours is enough to get your hands dirty and try training many different times. So that's everything comes in together.
No, that's excellent. It's brilliant. What are your goals for the future with regards to OpenCV, your companies, as with the OpenCV kits? You already mentioned the OpenCV AI kits. What are your goals?
The goal is very simple. The goal is to make the biggest computer vision community in the world. We want to serve the biggest computer vision community in the world. And the short-term goal is in about one and a half years, by the end of 2021, we want to be 1 million users or more. OpenCV itself is downloaded 1 million times a week. So 1 million times a week it is downloaded, but they are not all part of the community. We don't communicate with them. We want to build a place where 1 million people come every month, right? So forums, we have the newsletter, everything, that whole community, we want to be 1 million people strong. And that's the goal by 2021.
I love it. It's amazing. And ambitious,
million is actually, no, I did not. No, that's not the goal. The goal is to get 1.2 million people. The goal is to get 1.2 million people. Yes.
Everyone's watching, so you have to hold you accountable for that.
That's right.
No running away from it. No, that's great. And lastly, how do people contact you if they have any questions?
So the one place would be to email me at spmallick@opencv.org. That is my official OpenCV email. I think that's the best email address.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Satya. It was a pleasure having you on the show, and looking forward to seeing all the great developments from you, OpenCV, the kit as well. For those who are looking to enroll in either Satya's course or my courses, all the links will be down below. Mostly in object detection, segmentation, pose estimation. Satya's courses for beginners, intermediate, and advanced users for OpenCV, and also deep learning with PyTorch as well. If you have any comments for Satya, you can leave them down below or contact him on the email that you've provided. And thank you so much. Any parting words?
Thank you so much, Ritesh. Well, I wish you all the best for your YouTube channel. You know, we are all helping the community members, and it's good to have this kind of conversation, and it's good what the content that you are creating is also very useful for the general community. So all the best for that. And for our users, please visit opencv.org. Help us celebrate the 20th anniversary celebration. Tweet good things about us. If you have any complaints, then email us in private. But we really want to see the support of the OpenCV community, and good things are coming in future. We are trying our best.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Satya, and thank you everyone for watching. And we'll see you in the next video.